extraordinary economic crisis, the likes of which we haven't seen for decades, and yourself as head of research for the Centre for European Studies, the EPP's new foundation, what did you make of the EU's crisis summit last Sunday?
I'm happy because the new problem that came up right before the summit, solidarity between East and West in the European Union, the question of cohesion between the old and the new member states, I think was very smartly dealt with. We don't have one huge rescue package for all new member states, but what we do have is, outside the Eurozone, where everything is relatively okay at the moment, is individual pledges for help. Individual countries are going to be helped in different ways. And there is one European Investment Bank project to help out with 24 billion euros, and that's already something. For the first time in EU history, we had a working breakfast, a meeting of the new member states before the summit even started. And the echo in Central and Eastern Europe after the summit was overwhelmingly positive. The fact that Western European countries did pledge support and understanding for the specific challenges of Central and Eastern Europe, I think convinced them that this solidarity is there.
Let's talk about protectionism, or economic nationalism as it's called. Perhaps you could just define this.
The fears are that we fall back into something that happened in the 1930s, at the last economic crisis of that dimension. And that was a policy in which countries raised tariffs, protected their own industries with huge subsidies at the cost, naturally, of competitors, and at the cost of efficiency, and ultimately at the cost of citizens. In other words, in the 30s, these policies, economic nationalism, made the crisis worse and made it last longer than it would have if everyone had stuck a little bit more to free trade. So I think we're all trying to avoid that mistake now.
So what exactly should we do? Can you give us some concrete examples?
I think we should use any kind of bailouts, rescue packages and huge subsidies to anything else but the banking sector in what I would call homeopathic doses. In other words, we need to be really careful with it. Second, we need to coordinate it. We have to consult each other. We have to inform each other what is happening where. Because I'm making this distinction between the banking and the other industrial sectors like automobile, because banking is really crucial to every economy. It's the lifeblood of our economy. Everyone needs functioning banks. Industry is a slightly different case, and we cannot treat the banking sector and financial services on the same level as industry. And I think on industry we have to be much more careful with subsidies.
One of the EPP's proposals, the social market economy, which the EPP has actually promoted and defended for decades, I hear now that the socialists are jumping on the bandwagon.
I'm happy that others are now using that concept, but I'd be even happier if the source was given. How do we transfer that system into the 21st century? This is the big question, and I think we all need to work on that, whether we're centre-right or socialist or conservative. What does social market economy mean 60 years after it was originally developed? Because the conditions have changed.
And what does it mean?
It means the best for everyone. It's efficiency based on individual responsibility. It means that everyone is basically responsible for their own fate, and the state has to create the best conditions for that.